Welcome. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna start with an empty and make a little template. Show you a couple things that might be helpful when you're making your template. Just some ideas. And then we'll do stuff like automation and stuff. Not really gonna make like a song or even music for that matter, just sounds. But yeah, I'll show you a couple random things. So for your template, there's two things that are pretty helpful. If you go into your audio settings under mixer, you got browser preview track and metronome track, and you can set those to something for your mixer. Normally they're set to nothing, so they just come out the master. But if you want to like turn your browser down or turn your metronome down, that's kind of helpful. You can I've got the browser on 125, the metronome on 124, and I'm going to click in the mixer here, use the arrow keys to go back. So these two, middle click to rename, metronome, hit F2 a couple times for a color, and browser, F2 a couple times for a color, and then I'll dock those to the right. And I'll give them like a metronome. I'm going to give it a soft clipper. Turn that way down. So here's the metronome with and without. See, it's a little bit louder. So there you go. There's that for the browser. So like if you're searching through your samples and it seems a little bit loud, you can throw a limiter on there or a soft clipper or turn the volume down, whatever. I'm going to throw a limiter on there just to protect the ears a little bit. I'm going to turn the ceiling down. What's this sound like now? Without. It's a little louder without, so yeah, there we go. Maybe a little more. Okay, so we got that done. Now, how about a drum bus? So it's going to be kick, snare, hat, cymbal, percussion, yada yada yada. Any extra things. And the reason I picked that order is because I'll show you what I mean. If I have an FPC kit that I want to happen to throw on, that's the pattern they usually follow. If you choose one of the multi-outs, like we'll try, here's the metal multi-out. I've got it going to insert 1. The kick comes out insert 1. Here, let me make it a little bigger. All right, kick, snare on 2, hat on 3. Percussions are coming out 5. Crashes and cymbals are coming out number 4. And that's governed by the offset here, like offset from whatever track you have it set here. So if the kick is 0 and you have it to 1, you have it on 1, and 1 plus 0 is 1. So it's going to come out insert 1. Snare, the output is 2 or 1. So it's coming out 2. Because 1 plus 1 is 2. And so on. So anyway, that's the pattern that the FPC follows, and I make my drum bus the same order so that I can, use drums and throw in an FPC if I want. All right. So let me delete this. So to make the names, you could just name your mixer tracks here, but you don't get the gradient. If you want a gradient, you can do it here and then just automatically route them to here and then delete over here. So we're going to clone the sampler a bunch. I've got it highlighted here, Alt C. Let's see if I can think of 7, maybe 8 things. All right, so kick, snare, hat, cymbal, percussion. What should I do? Loop. Loops sometimes get thrown in there. Sidechain. And then the drum bus itself, which I just call drums. So I'm going to do the gradient here. Color selected. Gradient is Shift Alt C. Choose the 2 colors. I don't know. What about a like a red to a blue, purple, something? Okay. And I'm going to give sidechain a little bit of a visual distinctness so that that sticks out. So then you just get them all selected. Click in your mixer on the track you want to start from. Control Shift L. Lays them all out. And then you control drag across or double click drag. I'm going to go back to the way I like it here. So the first, basically all of them, not the sidechain, but all these are going to route to that track only. Drums route to this track only. And then the first 2, I usually do the kick and the snare to a sidechain just in case I want it. So go ahead and route to that too. So we've got, you just drag across them, you can see that they're all routed. Last, make sure you unhook the sidechain from the master so it's not going anywhere. You don't want to hear it. And yeah, so I mean, that's kind of like a default usable template for if that's what you want to have going when you start up. I'm not going to try and do a whole bunch more because, like, I like to leave myself free to figure out. For each project, it's going to be different. So the last thing I do is on the C track for current. This is effects that float to whatever you have selected. So you probably don't want to put like something that actually modifies the sound, but it's a good spot for analysis. So I'm going to put a wave candy, I guess, and choose the oscilloscope, or I mean spectrogram. And that way, whatever I have selected, I'll get a spectrogram on it. When I'm not using it, I'll just double click it and it stays right down there. So doot, doot, goes back there. Cool. So that's, I could live with that. I'm going to call it, well, before I save, I want to delete all these. No, all of them. Alt delete. There we go. And I'll have a template. We'll call it a template. The new template is the current working project. So actually, you want to use the template now. New from template, a template. So here we go. So let's make Let's chop an amen break. There's a nice little amen pack called Rhythm Lab, the Ultimate Amen Breaks Pack, and you can find the original amen or some variations. There's a lot of different ones. I like Havoc's 96. Okay, so if I want to throw this in a slicer and slice it up, I need to make the sample be the right tempo. So I'm going to decide on a tempo. Eeny meeny. I'm going to go for 160. And then make this 4 bars, I think. Let's put this here, see what that sounds like. Okay, so I'm going to consolidate that track to get a sample rendered out at the speed I want. And delete that. So here's my sample. I actually want that in a slicex. So right click, open a new slicex, and then delete the original. I'm done with it. And I don't need the audio clip either. So slicex auto dump can be a bit annoying, like the way it puts all that here. Like if you end up making your own pattern and then you do something, it will overwrite with auto dump on. So the first thing I do with slicex is turn off auto dump because I don't want that. All right. Control A, select all, delete. Control D to deselect. And so the next thing for the amen break, for like jungle loops and stuff, you actually want it to keep playing. So you want to make the you run the script called play to end. So it's on the wrench menu, run script, regions, play to end, run it. So now okay. So maybe the last thing I'll do here is use the cutoff in the filter. Normally it's off, so we'll just turn it on. Oops, the actual envelope's not on for the cutoff. I'm going to give it a high pass. And I don't know, maybe I won't. But there's how you could do it if you wanted to. Okay. So I'm just gonna do 4 random spots, maybe 2. Yeah, we don't need the metronome. No, I don't like that. Okay, it's decent. I can deal with that. So we're gonna send that to the loop. Select the insert we want. Control L from there, and it puts the 6 right there. Let me rename this to human slice x. Okay. Now let's have. I'm gonna play around with the fruit kick. I mean, they're not the worst built in. That one's easy. Just roll it up to 1. Okay. Punchies. So a lot of times on the places where people ask questions about FL Studio, there's one question you get like all the time, and so we're gonna actually do the thing. Some of you may know what I'm talking about before I even do it. So what if I want to take, like, if I actually want to match the drum hits to this without just listening and trial and error? I'm gonna consolidate this track. Actually, I'm gonna put it down here. Consolidate that one. Yep. All right. So here's this. And go to a new pattern. And have my kick selected in the piano roll. So here's this thing here. We're going to drag it right into the piano roll. And you can now see this waveform in the piano roll. So you can put hits where you think they might go. It's like maybe these 2 spots, that spot. What's that? What's that? What's that? Maybe there, maybe there, maybe there, maybe there, maybe there, right there. So that was just wild guessing. Let's see how we did. Wait, didn't actually put that there, and I don't want that. Hey, wait, wrong pattern. I want this pattern here. Well, okay, so it didn't actually sound that great, but it's an example of where you would actually want this waveform display in your piano roll, and then here's the thing. You got to know how to get rid of it. That's Alt N. No more. Alt N. It's gone. So if you've accidentally done that, now you know how to fix it. And if you ever wondered what it was for, now you know what it's for. So this drum pattern, maybe these double hits are not what I want. They don't sound great. None of them. None of them. They're all gone. I just want like a basic drum and bass drum kick and snare. So let me use a. I could get a snare sample, but sometimes I like those fake snares, like the drum pad kind. We'll pick what do we got? Garage snare. Where's garage? There's a drum and bass snare. What's that one sound like? So kick. Get out of here. It's just like this and this, some variation of that, and then snares like this and this. Hey, who's doing the? Oh, right. We got there. What happened? Oh no, I replaced my slicex. Did you see that? I screwed it all up. But that's okay. I didn't really want it. Can I undo? undo, 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 undo. There we go. There's our slicex. Insert a drum pad. Choose. I didn't like that snare. Let's get. There's a garage snare. So the punchy thing here. What is this? Get out. Doot, doot, and doot, and doot. Now, I didn't say I was going to make anything sound good. I'm just making stuff. So we have something to work with, and it's nice to have some drums going on while thinking about other stuff. I like it. Let's get rid of this. So we got our aim in break, just to kind of like go in the background, be turned down a little bit. We got our kick and our snare totally synthesized. Not exactly the best sounding stuff, but you know. Right. Okay, whatever. What should we do next? Let's have a bass. I'm gonna make a 3 exhaust. And I'm just gonna make some like distorted noise to chop up maybe later. So the bass, let's just send this here somewhere. And so like if you just want a sub bass, you usually want to turn the other two oscillators off. They're just one pure sine wave. And over here, right click like C6 or C7, we'll put it in the range, so you don't have to go so low on the piano roll. But that that needs a little bit of an envelope, like a volume. I'm gonna make the attack almost nothing. If it's nothing, let's just hear the pattern on its own here. X, go to a new pattern, paste, pattern mode. Okay, turn the envelope off. Hear that little click? If you take just the slightest amount of attack, the click is gone. Here it is without. Click, click, with no more click. Okay, so I'm going to turn the sustain down a little bit more. Hold, no hold. Release is how long it takes after you let go of the note. So like if I have it, and then you'll hear more. So all the way down. You can actually hear a click on the release. So, okay. Now I want to give it a pitch drop off for a little bit of a thump, kind of like what the kick has. Turn the pitch envelope all the way up, or some degree up, and then the attack to nothing, the hold to nothing, sustain to nothing, release to nothing, and then you just play with the decay at a fairly small value. You want to have some negative tension like this, so your small decay goes quicker. Hear that thump. Here it is without, with. So there's a thumpy little sub bass. And we've got it going through this, where we could put some effects here. But if you want to, I thought I'd, like, I'm trying to brainstorm ways to show crossfading between like a wet and a dry. You'd have this run to like a wet that goes out, or like you want to send it straight to the master, or you want to send it to a different place. So we could have another track, roll that back here, with some effects, like some really crazy, I don't know. My go-to for like a weird sounding 3x OSC is a squeeze and a wave shaper, and some other stuff. Like, I don't know, some weird random stuff. So let's do a filter post. Maybe turn that all the way up. And so here's the 3x OSC FX. So we'll have this routing to there, but it's also going to the master. And so this knob here where I'm waving my mouse, the master send from the 3x, and then the FX send, or these two knobs, I'm gonna make a crossfader that lives on this channel, and I can just like turn it back and forth. So make a control surface, right click, make a slider. How about that one? Properties. Let's make it go horizontal. Put it over in the corner. Give it a name like dry/wet. And there you go. So there's our little crossfader. And once when you make controls in the control surface, they show up when you go to like link to controller. So for the master send, I want that up when I turn it over to dry, so link to controller. When it's all the way to the left, it's down, so down needs to be up. So here's my link, but the mapping formula I choose inverted, accept. And on this one, link to controller, choose that same one. You'll see this turns red. You don't want that. I have it unchecked because I don't want to remove the conflicts. I actually just want both of them. So there's that. So now watch these two knobs while I play with this dry wet. Okay. So there's like other ways to crossfade stuff. Like you also have the layer. So let's make some, well, I'm gonna just throw some samples. Like what do we got? Like maybe some loops, maybe some sounds of some sort. What should I have? Here's some loops. No, I don't want stuff that might be copyrighted. Chops. Maybe that's all. Just like sound effect stuff. music loops. I don't know. Let's see, just some random stuff. So there's one. Here's another, and we'll do 3 of them so you can see what's going on. Next, insert a layer, and then select all these. In the layer, you choose Set Children, and all the selected things are children now. When in doubt, you can always select the layer and say Show Children, and it will select them again. So for this, we want the crossfade checked. And then this fader knob now controls what's going on. So if I put tick one box in the layer, it's triggering all of them, but it's only going to let the sound of like part of some of them pass. So that's another way to do crossfading. How about that? But actually that's all garbage and I'm going to delete it. So we've got more automation styles than you can shake a stick at. Let's see. What if we wanted to fade this loop in? And I guess we could either call it, wait, wrong, this one. So like that. We'll say we'll have this drum beat going here, and we've got this break pattern going here, and we want to fade in for the first part, and then maybe fade out for the last part or something. Okay? Beep, beep. So when you go to do like make the automation clip, remember having nothing selected in FL Studio is the same as having everything selected. If you don't have a selection, it just works on the whole thing. So when I go right click this knob, create automation clip, the automation clip takes up the whole track. And I want that. Let's delete that. If I just want this part here, control drag across the timeline, get a time selection. Now when you do automation clip, it's just right there. And then here's my fade in. And then I'll do this part here. Go back to all, right click, create automation clip. Oh, that's panning, not volume. Whoops, delete. Come on. How did I mess that one up? I know panning, different from volume. Okay, so Control D. Now we've got da 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 da. Let's go to the end. So that's automation clip automation, but you've also got other kinds. So we'll make that bass. Do we still have it? Did I delete it? Okay. I still have it. So I'll just make that. Maybe not like that. Let's have some attempt at a melody. And let's see, what do we got here? Control L, make them legato. This last one, and So I didn't really make it go as low as I wanted. I want it all the way down there. It's something. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna play with some that dry wet, I guess. Why not? And not really expecting it to sound good, but so let's turn this part way down like that. So if I record automation, it goes into whatever pattern is selected, and you might want it all contained in one pattern, but I find it a little bit better to have automation in its own pattern, just because when you double click it, it goes straight to the thing you want instead of like you have to like find it. So I'm gonna make a new pattern, put it here. I guess I could have gave it a name like automate dry wet. And now when I do record, it will go into there as long as that's what's selected. Like you can tell what's selected because it's highlighted over here and it's got this little red arrow. So I usually do wait for input on these automation things. So the record, the play, now it's waiting for me to turn a knob. Okay. Which one do I want? Which one do I want? The first one or the second one? The first one. So I can just like so I could group all that if I wanted, have it as one thing. Here's another thing you do, like when you double click, it goes straight to the thing. You can control drag to delete the part you don't want. Control D. Over in the triangle menu on this type of automation, you can go to, let's use it, edit, insert, turn into automation clip. So now it's asking me sensitivity. If I turn the sensitivity way down, then I just get simpler curves, which is probably what you want here. So then I'll be able to adjust. Turn off slide. I got magnet here. And is there a way to turn things back? So let's double click this guy. Wait, not double click. What do you do here? Yeah, it should be double click this. Can you turn it back? I don't think there's a way, but hey, what is create sequence? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think you can turn automation clips back to the other kind, but who knows? Maybe. Doesn't look like that's happening. Oh well. Yeah, that's fine. So you can make the edit events be automation clips. As far as I know, it's a one-way conversion. But you can join two of the same kind. So if you've got this ramp up and this ramp down and you want them to be the same thing, you can group them. I can group all these. Oh, it's got different clip types because they're sitting on top of the other thing. So make sure that you're selecting what you think. So these can be all grouped. We've got that. And these, well, it looks like the conversion deleted it, so we don't need it. Delete. Yep. That's two kinds of automation. How about another? There's the envelope controller, and we've also got the keyboard controller. I'm going to do the envelope controller next. So I don't know what I would want to control with this envelope. Give me a second here. So like when you have your kick, which is this, you could directly sidechain the kick to your whatever. Some kicks, like really long, messy kicks, actually kind of cause a little bit of distortion on doing the sidechain like that. So an alternative is to just use the envelope controller to control the sidechain and just trigger it at the same time as your kick. So here's on the 3x OSC. It's going to here. Let's give a so I'll do, I mean, I guess maybe you can't have too many side chaining tutorials like for the normal way. We're going to do the normal way first. Put a fruity limiter. I got side over here, and I'm just going to send kick and snare audio over to here. Right click, side chain to this track. So side is sending audio to this. Fruity limiter can see what is side chain to it on this list. So I'm going to choose side, turn the ratio up and the threshold down, and that should be enough to so you can see the level of what's happening. If I change release to something really low, see where it starts getting kind of ugly? It's like reacting to the sound wave, and that's distortion. So if you're getting a lot of that and you're having a hard time getting your side chain right, depending on the kick, depending on the bass, there's another way. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to unhook my side chain. So the other way would just be to use this envelope controller. Let's give it a name, and we'll call it kick env, and put it up next to the oscillator or the kick. So here's our kick, and if I go to the pattern with the kick, I just want it triggering at the same time as the kick. So you could put them under a layer and just trigger the layer, and it's going to trigger the envelope and the kick at the same time, but we don't need to do that. You can also put it on the snares too, so there you go. If you want to have a different envelope, that's possible. You can link more than one thing. So this track with the bass on it, I'm going to use Fruity Balance and just link to the volume knob, or link the volume knob to the kick env articulator 1. So watch the so now we actually need to fix our envelope so that it's not this. What would that be? Do they have a preset? Short burst, maybe. Oop, it's upside down. Okay. So one more kind of automation, just to keep confusing matters, is the keyboard controller. And I don't have an idea of what to use it for here. How about, crap, I know. How about like some weird parameter? Let's see. We will make a pad. Give me a pad. Citrus. What do we got for pads? My favorite Citrus preset is probably the one called CRT. I mean, I like a lot of these Saif, Samir, and Seamless R, and X Obaid, X Nucleon. I haven't tried all these. How about a 90s drum and bass pad? And a new pattern. Just put a note there. Yeah, that's a 90s drum and bass pad, all right. Now let's send it to a mixer track and give it some freak echo and maybe a little bit of reverb too. How about reverb? Let's use Oral River. I like Oral River. How about the modulate vibration one? Okay, maybe not. Just there we go. Okay. So I'm gonna link this shift knob to a keyboard controller just for the heck of it. And that's gonna show you how to do the third-party VSTs. You can sometimes right-click the knob and get nothing. So you can turn the knob and then go multi-link. You find your multi-link to controllers button and right-click that. Or if you just want to go straight to the horse's mouth, go to the browser, project tab, find your it's either effects or generators. So effects, Valhalla frequency echo, shift. I can just right click that, and there's my there's what I'm looking for. So I need a keyboard controller to link it. So insert keyboard controller, and so like different things need a sort of a different bit of attention here. Auto map or interpolate. For this, I want the whole thing. And so you got to drag in the top part all the way to the left, all the way to the right. And then auto map white and black is one way. If you interpolate, you go to like click, you got to highlight the lowest note, make sure the value is what you want for the low note, and then go to the high note. Oops. And remember, clicking is going to screw you up there. So you got to click the right part. Click the note part, not the top part. And make sure that it's turned all the way up. And then interpolate will go between the high and the low. You're going to end up with the same thing here, whether you auto map or interpolate. But yeah, sometimes auto map is more, usually auto map is what you want. So here's that shift knob in the browser, right click, link to controller, the keyboard controller, note. It's usually helpful to give your controllers a name. So I'm going to call it shift, Valhalla shift. Okay, see, that way if I went and I was on this list, it's easier to find now. Got it. Okay, so another thing we can do is play with the attack and the release smoothing. You'll see what that does here. Let's while shift is on the same pattern as my note trigger. I want this to be, this is the pad. And then the next one up is the shift. Put that there. So we'll just give it some random notes here. Maybe even our, let's run like the arpeggiate, quantize, riff machine. This is cool, that's fine. How about that? What do we got? They're not the ones that I want. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna actually group them there. Or pay it. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but I'm going to change the attack and the release. Okay, maybe we could give this guy a different note. Or how about, yeah, we'll give it a different note. But we're gonna give it a slide too, why not? Well, that didn't work out so great. Okay, so sidechaining third-party VSTs. How about that? Um, so I could try and I'll get rid of this limiter here. Whatever I just did, delete it. There are some VSTs that they're like, usually in the compressor category or the EQ, where they appear to do sidechaining, but if you're like, not familiar with how to do it, it's not obvious. So here's an example of one. Analog Obsessions, really awesome leveling amplifier. I mean, you can turn things up, you can turn things down too. I love Valhalla frequency. Okay, so over here on the gear tab, plug gear, that's the VST wrapper settings. You've got these other sub tabs. Processing is for where you set up your connections. You see the main connection, it's got an input and an output because it's in effect. You also have an aux, that's where your sidechain goes. So I have already sidechained something to this insert so it can see it on the list. Just make sure you enable it and select the right input. So now aux is getting something. We'll go back here, and when we turn the sidechain on, this external thing, now the peak reduction, we'll see it take effect. Repetition is a good way to learn things. I'll just keep doing the same thing over and over. Let's go again. Okay, okay. Why that happened there. I don't have them both selected. But apparently it thinks I do. Weird. Anyway. Chop that off. No. Just. Hey! What is going on here? I don't understand. Well, okay. Yeah, that's enough for now. That was fun.